In this video, I'm going to show you how you can really easily set up your water system so that you can winterize it quick and easy. But first, I'm Jeff, and on this channel my wife Lisa and I share our van life experience, including van build how-tos, tips, hacks, and product reviews, plus van travel and lifestyle. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now, when I first finished my van build last fall, we took the van out to try it out and it worked great. And we got back home and I knew the weather was starting to turn. And so I went ahead and drained out all my water lines and then I blew them out with air. I'm going to show you exactly how to set up your system really easily so that you can do that.
The first thing you need to do is drain all of the water out of your holding tank.
So if you're using one of these Bosch water heaters, either the 2.5 or the 4 gallon, which are really popular with a lot of people doing van conversions, then there's another thing you're gonna have to deal with in winterizing your system, and that is emptying out the water tank. Mine is a 2.5 gallon, so it holds 2.5 gallons of water. And what I found is even hooking up my air compressor and blowing out the air, that it does not blow the water out of the water tank, the hot water tank. All it does is it blows bubbles, and basically the air goes through those bubbles and then will blow out what's in the pipes, but not what's in the water tank. And these water tanks are, if they freeze, it voids the warranty. So you wanna make sure you clear out the water tank. So here's a really simple, easy way to do it. So I got this little pump, and I will link to it in the description. It was like $10 on Amazon, maybe $11. And it comes with these 2 tubes, and basically you pump it and it sucks water out and blows water out. Now the only problem is the tube is too big. The tube that comes with it is too big to fit down into the water heater. And so what I had to do was buy a smaller tube, 3/8 inch outside diameter and 1/4 inch inside diameter. I just got that down at Home Depot, and that tube fit perfectly into the larger tube. So this larger tube is the one that came with the pump, and this smaller one's the one I got at Home Depot. I just worked it into that tube, and now this one will fit down into the water heater tank.
You're going to want to insert the tube all the way into the tank. You're going to feel it hit the bottom. You want to insert it all the way till it hits the bottom. Then you're just going to pump until all of the water is out of the tank and just a fine mist of air sprays out. Now you're ready to blow out the water lines.
So the first thing I did is I installed a shower off the back. Now this is just a little shower outlet with a quick disconnect hose that you can just plug in, and then you can spray off. We use this if we go to the beach to spray off the sand, when we take our dog for a walk to spray her off, or if we're muddy or anything like that. It's a nice thing to have off the back of the van. Now we don't use this for showering. We have a full shower in the van. But this you can get on Amazon for under $50, and I'll link to it in the description. But this makes it really simple to hook up a way to winterize your van. Now if you don't have one of these, what you can do is you can just tap in to the cold water line of the van. So what you want to do is tap in right where it comes out of the pump, because the pump is made so that water will only flow out of it and won't flow back. And so when you're blowing air, if you put the connector after the pump, the water won't flow through the pump and back into your tank. It'll only flow towards your faucets and it'll blow everything out. What I did is I decided to figure out a way to connect a compressor up to this hose. So the first thing you need to do is I took this off, and there's this little backflow preventer. It's a little valve that the water can only flow one way. And if you leave that in there, you won't be able to blow air into the system. So I took that out and then just screw this back on. Then you can connect this to the hose. Okay, so now that's connected. Then I just take off this nozzle. And then what I did is I rigged up a way to connect my compressor. This is just a hose fitting, and then this is just a reducer to be able to connect a compressor nipple onto it. So just gonna screw that on. then I can connect my compressor hose right to that. Now that's all connected. Now the one thing you want to be careful about with the compressor is, because these RV systems are only set up to handle about 40 to 50 PSI, and air is a little bit harder on the fittings than water is. You want to set this to a maximum of about 40 PSI. Okay, so I'm going to turn the compressor on and just let it build up to 40 PSI. And then I'm going to start releasing the water through both the sink and the shower until no more water comes out and just air comes out. So I'm going to flip on the compressor.
Once the pressure is built up, you want to just go to each faucet and release the pressure, both the cold and the hot side, and just continue to release it and then turn it off and let the pressure build back up on the compressor, and then release it again, and do that until just a fine mist of water comes out. Now, depending on the size of your compressor, you're going to have to do this several times. I had to do it 4 or 5 times at each fixture, letting the pressure build back up in between. Make sure you do both on the cold and the hot side of each faucet. Now comes time for the antifreeze. Now you can just dump the antifreeze right into your freshwater tank and pump it through the system. But if you want to keep it just a little bit cleaner, you can disconnect the hose that connects your freshwater tank to your pump, and you can just put that hose right into the gallon of antifreeze and pump it right out of there. Before you start pumping the antifreeze, make sure that you reconnect the hose that goes into the inlet of the water heater. Then you're just going to turn on your pump and start pumping the antifreeze into the system. Now, if you have a 2.5 gallon hot water tank like me, it's going to take 3 to 4 gallons of the antifreeze because that tank is going to fill before it starts to go to the hot water side of your fixtures. So just swap out the jugs until you have at least 3 gallons into the system. Then just go to each faucet and open both the cold and the hot water side until the pink antifreeze comes out.
Now I want to give you some thoughts on winterizing your system. But first, before I do that, if you like this video, if you're finding value in it, go ahead and hit the like button and consider subscribing to our channel to get all of our videos on van build, van hacks, van travel, van cooking. We'd love to have you subscribe. Adding the pink antifreeze, I had to use 4 gallons. And that's because about 2.5 gallons is going to be in the hot water heater tank. That's if you have a 2.5 gallon tank. If you have a 4 gallon tank, it's going to take probably 5 or 6 gallons to winterize your system. You can get them on Amazon, but they're about $14 or $15 a gallon. I found them at Home Depot for, I think they were $2.98 or $3.98 a gallon. So I definitely would recommend getting them at a Home Depot or another local place rather than on Amazon. But your hot water side of your water, in my case, my shower and my faucet, nothing's going to come out until this hot water heater's full. And so you have to fill that, it has to fill that up before it's going to start putting the pink antifreeze out of the faucets. So what I would say is, if you blow out all the air, you're probably safe without winterizing it. But if you're going to go for the whole winter, then I would probably recommend adding the pink stuff. The other thing I would say is, if you have a water filter on your sink, go ahead and shut the water off to that after you blow everything out. You don't want all the antifreeze going through your water filter. So go ahead and turn that off, the water supply off to that, and just winterize everything else. So good luck winterizing your system. All the items that I use will be linked in the description. If you have any questions or comments, drop them below, and we'll see you in the next video.